positive things are really happening around us, whether it's in the market in technicals or in the market for fundamentals. Both of them are really surging. Look at the macroeconomic situation and what's happening in with this project. You will ask yourself, okay, what's happening outside and what I can see here really correlates. At least, like Mr. Whale highlights here, you know that it's true. You go to change something from your one wallet to another and you see the gas fees and you're like, how the heck can this project reach here with this kind of friction inside it, right? Now, when you look at it like an investor, you come to this one. I was just checking out at the shorts and I'm like, okay, that's huge, because people were actually talking, no, I'm going to sell XRP, I'm going to move into that asset, I'm going to sell XRP, I'm going to move into this asset. And I'm like, okay, if you're a trader taking 5 or 10% out to do trading, that would be okay. But there are people who take 30, 40, 50% of XRP out to move into 2 or 3, 4 assets for long term. They say long term, okay, quote unquote. Now, what's the issue which you can recognize here? Say you can generally do the comparison of XRP, ETH or Bitcoin, or even look at the general idea to Bitcoin dominance to see what you would be looking at in altcoins in the coming future, right? So then you come back to all the different charts which you can understand what XRP is literally doing. Let it be on a short time frame. Say there's a 4-hour chart, or you move to a daily, 3-day, weekly, monthly, that kind of pattern, and you kind of understand, okay, there is something evolving. Now the question is, what can you really see here? That's a big stuff there. Now, if you are looking at this, you will understand, okay, this is back in 2017 market cycle where the market was pumping up. So when the prices go up, what happens? Those people who are taking profits sell their positions. So as the price goes 5, 10, 15, 20, as much as up, people are going to take their profit. So you're going to see sellers coming in. Then you're going to see someone coming in and selling it. Saying, okay, I think this is it. The price is going to go down from here. In those aspects, selling is going to be at the moon. Now, why am I highlighting this? Right now, sellers are at the bottom. Do you think at this lower end, people are going to come in and start selling more? Because it doesn't make sense for those guys. Let it be taking profits, let it be new sellers coming into the market. So let it be the bears or bulls. They're now looking at the market and saying, I'm not going to sell. Whether it's about taking the profit or going against the market, I'm not going to do that. That's this particular region, right? So what you would be looking at is taking profits when it reaches here or above that. Because that's uncharted waters. We don't know what's going to happen in that area. So while looking through the fundamentals and technicals, always make sure that you understand what you are trying to do, because the positive stuff happening around us is super huge. Whether you agree with it or not, you are literally watching that. Now, yes, this is true that when you go to all different sorts of cryptocurrencies in this market, you're going to see a lot of it pumping. And maybe you're the guy who only has XRP and you're like, okay, I'm completely depressed because Bitcoin is not moving. I agree. On a shorter time frame, you're always going to see that. If you compare this, you will understand what we are talking about. Now, we are going to dive into all of those, so stay tuned till the end. When you're starting to invest in something, always remember, a lot of misinformation will be following there. Now, that's how people make money. So you do have to understand what's misinformation. You do have to understand what you need to understand and stay away. Because we had times when we were putting out charts like these for, say, some of the coins, highlighting, it's depressing that the price is going down. It's making a double bottom and people are not buying that one. So, back in the time, like, say, early August, I was saying like this for Avalanche. This is possible. You're going to go through these, you're going to hit this. Now, we hit all of those targets and we are now way above that. Now, this is a short term, right? A daily approach of seeing what's happening here. But when the price is going up, you need to look at the macro scenario. You need to look at how it's playing out. So people tend to avoid when the prices are low. That's a big mistake. So when you understand the structure, say, which I shared with my patron, This is something really easy to understand. On the same daily time frame, take that macro cyclic approach, put it here. So when you see market cycles moving, fine, you understand something. Now the same stuff happens in between the cycle, smaller cycles, right? So once you're able to digest this particular information, done. You now can see where people are starting to accumulate, and you know there is going to be a little bit of capitulation. There you come in if you understand this, and then the prices take off. What happens? People start like, okay, this is moving up. The bottom was like $10, now it's $60. Can I come in? Should I go in? That kind of stuff evolves. Then you see some kind of accumulation, reaccumulation pattern happening in a corrective pattern. That means it's going to be bullish from here. So should I buy now? All these questions comes. So once you're able to understand this, that's where you are starting to look really at the market and see what you are going to go through. Now let's go through this and then come on to XRP and do the same stuff on a macro and on a micro, so you know that where we are right now. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. People tend to move away from what they can really understand, and they just jump onto something which they don't understand, and that's why the majority always loses. Now we try to put information out there which you can easily digest and learn from, but not everyone care about it, so it's fine, because someone has to lose, or the majority has to lose when the minority makes profit. That's why you see this widening wealth gap, because a lot of people doesn't understand what needs to be bought, and they directly go on continue to buy some stuff which is hyped, or something which they don't understand and they think that's great. So that kind of approach, if you are an investor, won't be good for you. Now before we go into detail, I'm going to give you something to think about. See, this has been a great sense of thought process, which is like, okay, should I be like this? Should I be, the opposite? Because here, in most of the sense, Warren Buffett says cash is a bad investment. And if you are going to search it out, you can see like 150 billion is being put in cash by Buffett. So while I was actually looking at this, I'm like, okay, fine. That's huge, because cash is now approaching 150 billion. And if Buffett is like, okay, cash is a bad investment because he understands the macroeconomic situation and the level of inflation, how money works. And if he is 150 billion in cash, guys, there is something coming. Now, it may not directly be in the crypto market, but in the overall market. Now, you don't get to time it well. Now, if you're going to go through that, try, look at it, and you're going to understand. But the simple stuff here is invest in what you understand, not someone just saying, okay, buy this, buy that. But if that guy who says, okay, buy this, give you a reason and you understand it, you go do your own research and you're like, okay, that's a great stuff, then you can buy it. Otherwise, if you don't even understand what he's saying, neglect that asset. It's not going to work. Why? The next one, which is productive asset. It's the utility which matters. And at the end, you also see too much diversification is not good. And avoid herd mentality. So that's when you come into these, you understand that, okay, the fine, herd is moving on to those. Why? They are doing great for the time being, and a lot of people are moving there. What do you have to do? Go against the herd and do what you understand. That's where XRP comes out on top of it. Say you are looking at these, you understand it clearly. At the first bottom here, both of the assets like Ether and BTC bottomed in the market cycle. Great. Now what's next is the question. So you just see that they are bouncing, and they did like 300% here, 350% in Bitcoin. That's all great. But XRP barely did anything. So those who are in XRP is looking like, okay, we didn't do much. And then when others corrected, XRP went even more down. So that's in a bear market. Now, as soon as we are entering into a bull market in others, XRP is also following them. Now, compared to the last cycle, we were really slow in the wave 1. We barely got wave 1, to be frank. And then in wave 2, we did massive gains. But that bear movement in wave 1, those who holded on to it, just compounded whatever they got in wave 2 and wave 3. That is massive. you really have to understand how hard it is to compound, because you go to a bank, you put your money there, 5 years, there's nothing, 10 years, there's nothing, 15, 20, 25 years, it's ballooning. Great. Now, in crypto, you can actually do that using a couple of different assets if you understand, because too much diversification is not good. But if you have 5, 8, 10 assets which you really understand, that's okay. Not 50 to 100. Now, I don't have anything against those guys who are trading those 500 coins, but you need a lot of attention to do that. So when you come into these, you understand one thing. Here, Bitcoin is having a horizontal support. It's slowing down compared to what it was doing previously. Then you look at Ether. Here you had like 60-degree angle. Right now it's like 30, 35 degree. You are slow. Yeah, you are grinding upside, but without that much momentum which you had previously. Now look at XRP. It's way higher momentum. You are seeing buyers coming in to buy this particular asset whenever it dips back to that support region. So that's like, okay, I'm not going to sell my XRP and I'm going to buy more. That shows the supply and demand perspective of this. So the supply and demand is what actually moves the price. So now when you're actually going to see the entire price action in the altcoin market doing like this, so initially you had the support range, you broke below, and from there you dip like 50%. Now it's not from the top, it's from the breakout, right? Even the next one we are doing from the breakout, not from the top. And you see like 50% drop, and then after the bounce it did another 50%. So mostly you're going to see something similar. Say you did 30% here, you're going to do another 30% here, and if that's the case, you're going to go below the previous levels. That will definitely show that it's going to be massive for altcoins. Now on average we see like 2 to 3 times of bigger fluctuations, but the average in crypto is 5 times. You can check this all over the board and come to an average, and you are like, okay, that's great, because some of them are doing 10 times what they have done in wave 1. So if you are managing to get at least 3 to 5 times what you had in wave 1, that's great. Imagine you went from 10,000 to 50,000 or 10,000 to 100,000 in wave 1, and that was great. Now you're going to do 2 to 3 times minimum to 5 times on average. If you have explosive assets, you're going to reach 10x. Now individual assets, but in your portfolio generally, if you can get this, that's going to be huge, because we have dropped previously. Now it's not Bitcoin going down, it is the comparison of money flowing in, because how you make money? You follow the money and make money. If the money is being moved into altcoins, you follow that direction to make money, or get positioned well in altcoins before the big money comes in. And when the big money comes in, you move higher with the tide, and that's how you easily compound. Now when I say easily, in terms of timing the market is hard, but giving time in the market is easy. That's what I consider. Now I don't know what your perspective is, but right now this is what you see. You come back, you are at the support, you are just near the moving average, you're bouncing. RSI is showing you a rounded bottom. MACD is showing you that it's gonna go higher. That's actually cool, right? The MACD is gonna cross like it has done here. That's going to continue higher. So that's on a 4-hour chart. So as you zoom out and move on, say a daily chart shows you this. We have broken out. What we want is a bounce, retest or bounce, and then go towards making new highs in this cycle. Now you look at the MACD and say, no, it's actually going to cross to the downside. That's a bad sign. Or is it? Because when you look at these, when you're at the support level and you're going to show that I'm going to cross to the downside, MACD doesn't do that, it bounces. So there is a huge possibility that the MACD is going to bounce from here, because what we just saw in shorter time frame is that the MACD is going to cross to the upside. So if that's happening here and you're going to get a bounce here, that means the price is going to go higher. Now patience is really important. Why? Because we see like this. For example, you had these two lines, and if you had drawn this like this, at one point the price is going to come back and retest this one. Great. Now you stayed here. Some people like, that's not going to do anything. They sold it, capitulated. Other people bought it, then it slowly grinded. But this time, that's when majority were like, the assets are moving, I'm moving out. And from that 0.5 level, it just blasted. It went to that $2 level. Now This time, is it like that? Say for example, we say this time it's different, and that usually is wrong. But if history is going to rhyme, then from here you're almost doing a 10x. Last time you did 4x, and that was great. At $2, a lot of people were feeling euphoric in XRP, and you're going to get something like that in $8, $10, that region. Just make sure you take your profits when you are reaching the resistance region, because the RSI is showing you around at bottom. MACD is already in the positive territory, making a double bottom. So all of these conclude one thing for sure. You are going to get these movement to the upside. You're above the moving average, the long term, the short term, you're staying above it. And the higher potential is that you come back, retest this moving average, say $1 mark, and then bounce. Now, that would be a buy the dip moment for a lot of guys who are averaging down or buying and accumulating. But if you are someone who has positioned yourself in the bottom and you're just riding this is the information which I want to convey. Stay strong and grind this, because you are going to see some resistance as you go through the $2 mark. Those people who bought in at $2 and right now made a bad decision, they're going to come back, take the profits a little bit and move out to a different asset. And that's how they lose the market. Great. But you don't do that. You stay there, take a little bit of profit because you bought in early, if you bought in early. And if you want to trade with that profit in another asset to just learn trading, unless you trade with your actual money, you're not going to learn. If you're completely trading all the time with your virtual account, you may get some basics, but not the reality with money. Because when it's your real money, that's when the psychology, the emotions comes into play. And that's where you tend to make a lot of wrong decisions. So once you understand this, we are following this trend line for a long time and we are bouncing from this. It definitely looks like you went up, you came back down, you bounced. You went up, you came back down, you bounced. Now you're making a rounded or U-shaped bottom there and going back up, similar here. So if that's similar till there, the next bounce or the burst should also be similar. Now you look at the RSI compared to this one, this was lower, the price was moving up, you tend to go up, great, the price went down. So you got the idea here from the RSI. Now the RSI is actually following the price. So the next one should be the burst to the upside. So whether you are in this or not, understand not a lot of people are going to take the profits from here, and not a big herd of sellers are going to come. They are going to come when the prices go up, not when the price stay low. So the chances that you go down is way lower. Now, as an investor, what you should be looking at is what's your downside risk compared to your upside. And if you understand that, you are going to succeed in any type of assets. Guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want these kind of updates for a lot of different assets in your portfolio where you're like, okay, I really want to know what this asset is doing. I really want to know when this is going to go down. I really want to know where should I take my profits. What are the opportunities in the market? Should I buy this one? Should I not do this? You can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below, where we put on all of these items, right? Whenever I'm free, I'm going in, I'm checking different charts, people are asking questions, and I'm responding to that through the charts. So when you see all of these, you are literally watching the market do different stuff. Say this is one for XRP, which I posted last day. So if you are looking at this, it's clear that you are at this point and you are having the correction going back to the moving average bouncing. Right, so all of these type of updates for XRP and a lot of different assets are going through the Patreon. So if you want to take benefit of that, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, I'm going to meet you on the next video. Bye for now.